Okay, welcome to video 5. In this one we're going to talk about literal equations. So we've already been solving for one variable. We just are now going to solve for one variable in terms of other variables. So that means that we get the variable by itself, just like we always have. And the rest of the variables will be on the other side of the equation. So see what's happening to the variable and do the reverse or inverse operations, just like we've always done. The only difference is now we're going to have variables instead of things that combine. So when you see solve for x in terms of y and z, that just means we're going to get x by itself, and the y and z will be on the other side of the equation, so they'll be in the answer. So let me show you that this is the same thing that we've already been doing. So when we solve for x, so what's happening to x? It's being multiplied by 2. We're adding 1, so I need to do the opposite in the opposite order. So I'm going to start by subtracting 1 to both sides, and then I get 2x equals 8. Then to get x by itself, I would divide by 2, and get my answer, which is that x equals 4. Now the only difference is, instead of having those numbers, now I just have these variables over here on the right side. So if I still want to solve for x, I'm going to start by, well, it's multiplied by a, and then we're adding b. So I'm going to do the opposite in the opposite order. So I'm going to subtract b first. But the problem is I can't put c and b together, so I just have to write them side by side. So I've got this c minus b, or I could write it as negative b plus c. Then I've got ax, I need x by itself, so it's multiplied by a, so now I need to do the opposite, which is divide by a. So we have a over a cancels, and we're left with x equals c minus b divided by a. So it looks a little different, but it's the same thing we did over here. We subtracted 1, like we subtracted b, but I just can't put them together. Then we divided by 2, we were able to get one answered. We just have to show it divided by a. Okay, so we'll do a couple more together. So given the equation, c equals k plus 273, solve for k in terms of c. Well, I want k by itself. So what's with it? The 273. So in order to get rid of it, I need to subtract. So if I subtract 273, I can't put these two things together. They're not like terms, so I just have to write it as c minus 273 equals k. Okay, next one. If 3ax plus b equals c, solve for x in terms of a, b, and c. So basically, get x by itself. So what's happening to x? It's being multiplied by 3a and then adding b. So do the opposite in the opposite order. Subtract b first. So then we get 3ax equals c minus b. Next thing that's happening is being multiplied by 3a, so then we're just going to divide by 3a. So again, nothing over here can be combined or simplified, so I need to write x equals c minus b, because I can't combine those, divided by 3a. And again, I can't simplify any of that, so that's my final answer there. So whenever you do any of these literal equations, you need to just be sure to always think, what happened to x, in what order, and if it helps you, you can write them out, and then we just do the opposite in the opposite order. So they look a little funky, but the answers are always just whatever they're asking you to solve for. So solve for x, so that's the important part there. What are they looking for you to solve for? Which variable? Because like in the first example, they said solve for k. So we have to just be careful. What are they asking me to get by myself? What's happening to that variable? And then do the opposite. So they should be fairly simple. You just have to think that they're going to look a little funky. The operations are just like what we've been doing with solving equations. Okay, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. Have a good night.